Welcome back to Football Coach, episode 39. As we continue on with our season, we have another very close loss, just a touchdown behind UCLA, a very big-time program. They are having a bit of a down year. Their ratings are not as high as normal, but they are definitely higher than ours. We were at home. We kept it very close. Everything's been very respectable so far on the season, and it's only a matter of time before we win a couple more games, you would think. 3 new injuries, though. You got to be kidding me. At least 2 of them are only 1 week long. Ring, again, injured. 2 offensive linemen. We know the offense is very, very fragile, or the line is very fragile anyway. But Donovan Post, 3 weeks for him, and he's an 80 overall, so he's like our 3rd receiver. Sewell, no wonder we lost. Gosh, it looks like we actually should have won this game, and quite comfortably. We just had 5 turnovers in that game. 5 turnovers, and we only lost by a touchdown to UCLA. 4 of those were interceptions by Sewell. Apparently, the lack of breakthrough in quarterback IQ was very costly. Very costly. Certainly cost us at least 1 win this season, because you take 4 away and leave 1, clearly we're going to win. Well, the only game that ended up not being close over that stretch where I said we're probably going to lose a ball, it would be nice to steal one. The only game not close was this Cal one. They beat us 37-10 and at home. And we pick up a major injury to our D lineman, Tally. His base was a 76, and he's going to be out for 5 weeks. But we do get 3 guys at least back healthy. That does hurt, though. And it's 3 linemen back healthy. Recruiting update. First recruit ready to sign this season, Ezra Glass. Pretty sure we were the only offer, so this should be, yes, there you go. It's a gem. B potential, 58 overall. Not amazing, but he does have good durability, and that's our first signing of the year. So for the entire roster, we only have 2 major injuries, but they're both to our first and second best D linemen. There's no other additional injuries, but this is our position with the least amount of depth to begin with. And if I do sit them both out, with Kansas up next, the first of those winnable games, 2 in a row here, we're looking at a true freshman who's a 60 overall, who has great durability, sure, but a 60 overall who has to play. With a 74 and a 73 as the starters, this would be the weakest we've seen our D-line in many seasons. Really, this is early days, right? The first year or 2 type scenario where we really struggled to get stops, meaning we would really struggle to get stops. Pinnon has a single week left on his injury. His rating is so good that I feel like we have to take a chance on the senior. 1 game, fingers crossed he does not get injured, and then he gets back to full strength, because he can get injured further. This could be the end to his season by doing this, but we are in such a dire position because of the other major injury. He's out for 5 weeks. He's also a senior, by the way. He's A- durability. We had him playing every down, though, but that is awful luck that the A- durability guy goes down. Does that mean it's very unlikely that he's going to get hurt any worse? He's going to miss most of the season as it is if we don't do something here. Let's take him off off play every down, and let's go sparingly keep fresh from Pinnon, but we need him. This is a risky move, but I'm gonna do it. We are desperate for the next 2 games. Then we can sit them out and be awful. So we got to take our chances. We are rolling the dice and risking losing those guys for the rest of the year. But one of them is already on the verge of being out for the rest of the year, so we might as well anyway. And in the other case, he's supposed to be back healthy in a week. All right, this is where you want the freshman to play, so let's bring him in. So next up is that 77-77 Kansas. On the road, though. They're 1-4. Absolutely should be a game that we could win. I mean, even with the issues we have now, we have the talent to do it. Fingers crossed we actually come away with the win, though. And really, we should be beating Hawaii as well. We should be winning the next 2 games. Well, disappointing that the road game for Kansas does not result in a victory. The defense couldn't hold them up. Offense did plenty with 24. Well, not plenty. They did what often is enough, but 33 points given up means we dropped to 1-5. But at least we're heading home for our next game. No new injuries, and Pinnon has recovered. He's back to his 91 overall. No risk of further injury from the previous one, so we played him that limited amount, and it worked out. We also have a signing who is ready. Another D lineman, Lynch. We needed more than one, and they were right next to each other on the list, and we've got him. His durability is just a little bit lower than the other one. 10 attempts, 10 fails. Hawaii has absolutely been our bogey team, but we finally fired the coach. We have a good coach now, and he's had a good season, but only one win. So he has not quite lived up to expectations, right? 4 close losses, one time that we've been beat pretty handily, and that was one of our most winnable games. In fact, that was our most winnable game of the season that we've played so far. In fact, more winnable than the game we're about to play. But it was on the road, and road games are just tough. But we've lost close ones of late. Can we finally get ahead of Hawaii? I mean, look how many times Hawaii has been weak. I mean, they've had a 3-3 and a 2-4, but we should be winning this, especially at home this year. But we're only 2-point favorites. That's it. Our rushing game and passing game are even, but our pass protection sucks. With Pinnon, our D-line is dominant to their rush game and their passing game, but their pass protection is better. We absolutely have the talent advantage, but can we get the job done finally? So we're set to kick off. Let's get the game underway. They're going to get a first down on their second play, but with a negative play, we set up a 3rd and 10, and they go 53 yards on a tight end attack, basically fly routes across, and they get 53 yards. Are you kidding me? Wow, this could not have started much worse. 7-0. All right, well, let's get things going. We open up with a 9-yard pass, deeper play there, and in just 2 plays, we've reached midfield. Another first down, 11 yards on that pass, 10-yard run, 8-yard run, absolutely dominating every single play so far with significant gains. There's our first negative one. 3rd and 2, and we go backwards, setting up a 43-yard field goal that we miss. So we come out on the first drive and mostly hold them, but one massive play sets up a touchdown, and then we just march right down the field and then put on the brakes and then miss the field goal entirely. And now this time around, they're starting to move the ball a little bit better. Another first down, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 11. Finally, the negative plays, the halting quarterback contain, field goal defense, 45-yarder, but they make theirs. They definitely did not move the ball as easily as we did, but we find ourselves down 10 here in the first quarter. 2nd and 5, halfback sweep, not going anywhere. Curls, gets the first down. Bubble, it actually goes positive gain this time, setting up a 3rd and short inside zone. Enough for the first down. Tight end stick, going nowhere. Wide cross, that's enough for the first down. 19-yard pass to Declan Bacon on that one. Another bubble screen. Let's not do that twice on the same drive, please. Thank you. We'll go short, under, first down. No, we don't need a tight end attack this close. That does not work this close. Let's go short again. Slants. 2nd and 4. First quarter comes to an end already. Oh, we want to run an outside zone? No, let's not run outside zone. Let's go short pass. Can we play action short pass? Do we have any? Maybe we need to go medium. Play action comebacks. There you go. Touchdown. Touchdown. Green with the catch from Sewell, 5 yards. And that one's to the back, middle of the end zone. beating the safety out on that one, and we're back in the game. 10-7. Decent gain on first, and they're going to put it. They're not gaining quite at the rate we are, but they're still getting first downs within a couple of plays, and we are not stopping them at the moment. They are definitely moving forward. Finally, we get a little bit of a halt with a 0-yard run from the quarterback. Take it down at the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd and 6, but they get the first down anyway, and set up a 1st and goal, 2nd and goal. Come on, halt them for the field goal, please. No! 2-yard touchdown run from the quarterback on the keeper. We blitzed. They ran right up the middle. We couldn't stop him. 17-7, and we're right back down by 10 with 9 minutes left in the second quarter. A lot of work to do if we're going to be competitive in this game. We go backwards, all hitches, no, and we punt for the first time this game, but there is a fumble, and we've picked it up. We're going to get a short field from here. It was the running back Hendrickson fumbles the ball. It was our linebacker Knoll who forced the fumble. It was recovered by our D lineman Buckley and returned to the 23-yard line, picked up on the spot. So he dropped it there. That was right about line of scrimmage. So we blitzed in with the linebacker. It looks like they were trying to run to the outside. Linebacker hit him. The D lineman next to him picked it up. And now we've got a short field to get right back in this game, and still plenty of time here in the first half. Slants middle, nothing. Curl flats, nothing. 4 verticals for the end zone, nothing. 40-yard field goal, at least that one is good. We're back within a score. Did not take very good advantage of the short field we were given. 3rd and 5, that's enough for a first down though. 2nd and 4, 3rd and 3, setting up a 3rd and short. They get just enough 3 yards on the run. Another first down. Come on, defense is not holding them up very well at all. 2nd and 10, another 1st and goal. 23-10. Holy crap, we cannot stop their offense. Quick slants, nothing. Hitches. The new coach, go ahead and retire. Go ahead and retire. You're garbage. You're garbage, actually. It's the offensive coordinator who's making the calls. But you got to be kidding me. I am done. I do not want to see the rest of this thing. We got to have to go. There's still a tiny chance for the team to come back, but they're down 21. Let's see what happens when we get to the fourth quarter. Now they're down 31. 41-13. Blown out by Hawaii. We better not have any injuries. That was as ugly as it gets. But you look, yardage is similar. Passing yards was way ahead of them, but they absolutely just killed us with the rushing game. 5.5 yards a carry, 44 attempts. They just kept marching right down the field. Only 6 of 13 on 3rd down. How do we even... 3 turnovers to their 1. Turnovers have been a major, major problem for this team this season. We've seen them cough it up a lot. They are not securing the ball very well at all. How? Bad. Hawaii. I don't get it. I've heard multiple times in comments that rivalry games tend to favor you, not the opponent. Yet we have never beaten Hawaii in 11 attempts. We've been better than them 5 times out of the 11 in terms of on paper quality. Now the coaching could have been something. Certainly not now. We got a 10-9 with the maximum bonus of being a 10-10. We've lost to them 11 times. 11 out of 11. We've had a better record against Arizona State. We've beaten them twice. We've been very, very close to them 3-4 times. And Arizona State, we've never had a better roster than them. Yet we've beaten them a couple times and been very, very close many times. Like, we get blown out every other game against Hawaii, especially the home games. They blow us out when we're at home, when we should be better. When we go on the road, we lose close games. I don't get it. Like, how is Hawaii got our number like this? We are so uncompetitive against the team that we should have beaten 4 to 5 times by now. And that's it, folks. 3 more injuries, too. We do have 2 recoveries, but Tally, who we played through the injury, it did turn worse. Upper body, severe. He's out for the rest of the season. But at this point, I don't care. We had 4 winnable games. This was game 3 of that. Tulane at the end of the season. We're going to need that to get our second or third win at that point. But 2 additional injuries, including a major one, but luckily it's only a single week, and it's a guy down at the end of the depth chart for offensive line, so he'll be back quickly enough. But another minor injury that's going to be costly. Yes, he could play through it, but it's gonna hold him back for quite a while. Can't get much worse than this against Hawaii. I was so optimistic about this season, and things had been going pretty well, and we were very close to pulling multiple victories, and then losing these back-to-backs, losing to Kansas in a close one, and then getting absolutely hammered. Worst game of the season by far, at home against the rival. Next up is Arizona. Arizona is having a bit of a struggle, but they're still a good team. And Utah is really struggling. And then there's Tulane, who has yet to win a game. We have got to get something in here. We've got to win 1 or 2 of these to salvage our season. The really disappointing thing about Tally is he's got this durability. He's not supposed to get injured, yet he's picked up 2 successive massive injuries over a short stretch. I guess in the game's defense, I did have him playing every down because he was the only guy who was not a liability, and then he became exactly that. I backed him off to playing limited, right? He was playing limited, and yet still, even with just a handful of snaps, he took his injury and made it a lot worse. Now, is the chance increased, right? We know that a minor injury can't become more. You can still get injured in some sort of natural or organic way, but it's not going to get worse. That a major one can get worse, but does it mean you have increased chance? Well, Pennon, Mr. I have no freaking durability, didn't. But he was going to miss all but the last game of the season anyway, so we were taking our chances to get him out there, and he made it, 2 games? So I've been having the weirdest of battles this season. For one thing, I'm ahead in a number of battles, and I'm very competitive and closing gap in other battles where I'm no worse than second in the rankings. There's one exception, and it's my number 1. A 65 overall, A+ potential, okay durability, offensive lineman. A 65 overall for an offensive lineman? Normally I'm pulling guys in the high 50s. And A+ potential. Absolute phenomenal guy that I found very early on, but was not interested in us, so 5 other schools out there, so we had to do some catching up. And they have recruited throughout. But here's the thing. Louisville is the highest. And outside of giving him an offer, which gave them a boost, and then having a visit, which gave him a boost, and offering him an NIL, which gave him a boost, they don't pitch the guy. He gains 100 points every week. Navy, meanwhile, has been more active, but they are not pitching this guy like he's their top recruit. We have, since the very beginning, since the off season, this is somebody I literally found at the very, very, very beginning of things, like maybe week 2 of the off season. So we offered him week 1. He's already done a visit. He has an NIL deal similar to Louisville's. And he's gotten my ace pitch every week. Anywhere from 400 to about 550 points. Yet, oddly enough, he keeps getting significant boosts from Louisville, even though it keeps showing 100 points. So we go from 500 behind to all of a sudden the next week, he gains 100 points, and we're 1,500 behind, where we've pitched 450. So the estimates, the math keeps not mathing. It's not adding up. Now, Again, he's had 3 significant boosts. He can't get any more on that. So at this point, we are closing that gap once again, and I'm sure that those had something to do with those boosts. But they're not pitching him. And the rate of gain, like we should have gained 400 to 500 points this week, or about 442 points roughly. But we were 1,200 behind, and now we're 1,100 behind, or 1,000 behind. Like we've only gained 200 when we should have gained about 450. Something about the estimate is off. I'm hopeful that means we are closer than we thought, because I wasn't getting boosts until suddenly it jumped by over 1,000 points. I think his visit may have been the big trigger for that one. I think he got a pretty healthy boost. That NIL deal has been there since week 1. He doesn't care much about NIL, so it's a fairly small numerical gain. I can't gain much from that, so it's really coming down to the pitch. But if they continually do not pitch him, we should be able to win this battle. And this is my huge fingers crossed. This is Josue Pryor 2.0. Our best chance at a signing. And he's from Wyoming, so it's not like anybody else has some sort of advantage on proximity. They've got a little playing time advantage. Scheme fit, they've got a little advantage. Proximity to home, they're getting an okay rating for that, and he does care about it. Prestige, they've got a little advantage kind of here, there, everywhere. Stadium atmosphere, we have a little advantage. Facilities, certainly a big advantage over Navy, but identical to Louisville. College life, they have a big advantage, but they don't care at all. Academics, similar. The NIL, just not very important. We do have a few active bonuses on our program stability, where they have a negative there, but overall relative interest, especially that proximity to home and school prestige, they're carrying just about enough of an advantage. But again, no push from them has made it quite possible for us. I'm really hopeful on this one, but it just keeps not adding up. We should be about 1,500 to 2,000 flipped, so meaning we should be about 1,000 ahead of them, or 500 ahead of them at this stage. Just how each week has looked, and then getting the feedback on what their plus is week by week. Oh my gosh, another close loss. Arizona beats us 27-24. This is so frustrating how insanely close we are to having a 500 record right now, being 4-4. Easily. We're 1-7. Haven't won a game in the conference. This is looking like our farewell to the conference at this stage. Crazy. Anyway, Fuller recovers from his injury. Bat picks up a new injury, and not his first of the season. His second or third of the season, even. Can't believe I was actually hopeful of sneaking in a good performance against Utah, who's having a really bad season, but we're on the road. And I feel like we overperform against mid-level teams, and we underperform against weaker teams, so I was optimistic, and ouch, 41-10, third really bad game of the season. Otherwise, everything's been really close. One new injury, but it's only a 1 week, and we've got 2 guys ready to sign. Before I said that we had 2 guys same position, I was wrong. It was 1 D lineman, 1 linebacker. Now the other are both coming in. So we get our gem, and we are going to... Hawaii did offer, we were way ahead on this one, but we also get a gem here as well. 3,000 points ahead. We won a battle by 3,000 points, and they did not uncommit from that battle. They were still targeting him every single week. Finally, we secure that second win, 34-17 over Tulane, who remain winless on the season. We go to 2-8, but both wins have come as out-of-conference games. So we are 2-1 in those 3 out-of-conference games, and it turns out we really needed them to get to the 2 wins. 4 new injuries, though, including a major one, is not going to help us with Washington State coming up. It's weird how we have focused more and more on durability of players in recruiting the last, 4 years now? And injuries had come down until this year. We are getting hit with probably the most injuries we've ever had. Now, part of that is a senior class that was full of guys with weak durability. And you look at the injuries, and 3 of them are seniors. One of them is Lionel Ring, who has picked up his 4th injury of the year. So it's a little bit of a product of the old system. I think starting next year we will start seeing less injuries, but it's just weird how this year is reminding us just how important durability is, as I said, we haven't had this type of injury problem in many seasons. Sewell sets a record with 427 passing yards in that 34-17 victory. Likewise, we also set another record with 534 yards. I thought we broke that against Arizona State in our bajillion overtime loss that we had to them. And it really was. It was a bajillion. That's not an exaggeration. We had a bajillion overtimes in that game, or 3. One of the 2. Passing yards, 398. And that means we lost about 30 yards through sacks in that game. Offensive line not protecting Sewell very well. Well, now just 2 games remain on the season with Washington State. Should be winnable. 3-6 they are this year, but they actually have a pretty good team. A little bit better than us, and we're on the road. But again, we seem to overperform in those games. Less stress. Apparently, we're not expected to win, yet we go in and surprise, which seems to be the case with every other weaker team that we've been up against for a long time. We're not winning those games very often. It's the ones that we should be winning that we're losing, and the ones that we should just about lose are where we're getting our wins from. Anyway, at least we got our 2. USC is back into their normal way this year, though only just inside the top 10 with their 8-1 record. Those last 2 games will wrap up the season, and we're not going to make a bowl game, obviously. I was really hoping to at least maintain and build and get to that 3rd win, so that's going to require Washington State victory to make that happen. But anyway, the recruiting side has not been fantastic, with just 4 guys signed on so far, and none of them have been amazing, but we are winning a lot of battles. We are going to get signatures from a lot of guys that we wouldn't have gotten in prior seasons. So the new strategy, the new tactic, and especially the new head coach at Welch has done a lot to help us tip the scales on those recruiting battles. It does look like we're going to miss out on our A-plus guy that I desperately want. It does turn out that every once in a while, when we start closing that gap and we get within, it looks like about 750 seems to be about the mark, that they turn around and they do an ace pitch, and their ace pitch is a lot better than our ace pitch. The interest is that little bit higher, so he responds to their ace pitch a little better than ours. So where I'm getting about 350, they're suddenly getting 500, and so they pull back away, and then we inch closer, and then they pull away, we inch closer. We had moved up to 2nd on that one, but Navy also did something big on theirs, so it does look like we're gonna just miss out on that one. There's not much else we can do. The NIL is not really getting anywhere with him. I added 20K more to it and got, I think, 12 points. So that's a sad miss, but we are looking good for others. And so the recruiting's getting there. The transfer market, I'm really starting to understand the ins and outs and able to figure out how we can squeeze out a few victories there. So recruiting is back to being solid. There's still a little bit of a hit and miss year by year because we are stuck with leftovers, and it's a matter of finding the best ones within those leftovers. But some years that includes somebody who's an A, and some years that includes a bunch of guys who are Bs. We can always find the Bs, but can we find the A's? Well, it's leftovers, and some years they're there and some years they're not. There are some this year, though. So we are looking pretty good for this particular class on the eventuality of that. But the team has struggled a bit this year, and honestly, I think that's just come down to a weak offensive and defensive line. Pinnen's good, sure, but nobody else is. And it's made it a little bit of a struggle. So even though we have some talent at a lot of positions, it's been hard to win the line of scrimmage battle, and that's left us just short more often than not. The other skill positions are really helping keep us in games, but not every one. And then there's Hawaii. Oh my goodness. They are kicking our butts. This is the year that realignment will happen. Of course, we thought it was going to be last year. But this is definitely the year. So we've got 2 more pack games, and based on our 0-7 in conference, and even if we beat Washington State, our 1-8 eventuality of conference, I have a feeling we are going to be headed down to a smaller conference. We'll see how that all goes. I'm interested. I'm very interested. But that'll be next time. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there.